Hello, I'm Tim Maxwell. I'm going to give a little presentation or a how-to on how to put stainless steel wrap protectors on an Airstream trailer. What we have here, we have a European trailer. The European trailer is going to have a rock guard right up here, wrap protector, just the same as a classic, an international, and a flying cloud would. These are put on a little bit different. These are put on with some nuts that come through attached to some weld nuts. The other trailers, the classics, the flying clouds, the international, have a hinge down here, an acorn nut with a 7/16 acorn nut that you just loosen up to hinge that loose so you can clean it. These are actually fixed on with the weld nuts. We would put these on the European style trailers, or if we have a sport trailer that we would want to add some wrap protectors on, these would be our ideal choice. So I'm just going to go through. We already have the wrap protector installed on the road side of this European. I'm just going to wrap around and go to the curb side, and I'm just going to put one together. We'll do it in real time and actually go through the process, the tools needed, the supplies needed for putting one of these on. Well, before we get started, I really just want to go over the supplies that's needed. Basically, we got a 1/4 inch weld nut that's going to be attached to the inside of the trailer. We have a 3/16 by 1/4 inch washer. And then we have a 1/4 by 20 by 1.5 inches long machine thread with a button cap on the end of it. So them are going to be the supplies that we need to attach it. The supplies that we need for doing the job is going to be some tape. We want to protect that segment. A tape measure. I have a cordless drill with a number 40 drill bit in it for a pilot hole. These are 3/8, so I need to have a 3/8 drill bit. My driver to install the machine screws with, and then a marking pin, and then most importantly, my safety glasses. I'm going to put my safety glasses on, so I'm going to move my tools around the side, and we're going to get started. So we talked about the tools and supplies we need, but most importantly, we need the stainless steel wrap protector. We have the roadside already on. I have the curbside here. The wrap protectors do come labeled. There's a label on it that says roadside, curbside, but if we don't have the label, just real quick, there's a flat side that's got two 90-degree bends. Two 90-degree bends there. We have a radius corner here. These 90-degree bends go against that center plate. Yeah, if you look at it just a little bit closer, you'll notice that we have two radiuses in it, a contour, a little bend. We have a larger bend and a smaller or a tighter. The tighter one always goes towards the bottom. So just looking just right at this wrap protector is going to sit right up there. There's something else that I want to point out. This wrap protector is actually put together with rivets. So you'll see rivets on this back corner. When I'm putting this wrap protector up there, I want to protect that segment so I don't scratch it. You know, the segment's aluminum, it will scratch. So I'm going to set that off to the side, and I'm going to get my best friend. I'm going to get some duct tape or some masking tape, and we're going to put on that segment to protect it so we don't scratch it. It's a lot easier to protect it now and get the job done, and then notice that we have scratches in it. So I'm going to come up through, and I'm just going to start applying tape right along that center plate seam. I'm going to put about 2 rows down through, and then I'm going to come up here just a few inches down, and I'm going to put about 3 rows underneath there. Again, I want to protect that, and I'm overlapping them just a little bit. So see what I'm doing? I'm protecting I'm protecting that segment. Then this other segment's going to stop about right here. I'm going to put about three more layers right down that side. I'm doing all that before I even get started. The measurements that we want to take on this. If I'm looking at this flat side, we have 2 holes in it already. This wrap protector is designed to sit right on top this rub rail down here, or right on top of there with the flat side. These holes, if we would measure it, this first hole from the bottom is going to be up 4.5 inches from this bottom plate. So this first hole there is 4.5 inches. This second hole right up here is up 25 inches. So I want to take these measurements and I'm going to correspond them right over here. And we'll do that next. I'm going to grab my tape measure, come right off this center, right off this rub rail on the center plate. I'm going to come up 4.5 inches. And then I'm going to come up 25 inches from on up. So we got our measurements. These measurements actually correspond with these 2 holes. Right here, 4.5 and 25.5. The next distance that we got to measure is in. I'm going to come in from this seam right here. In from that seam 3/4 of an inch. So if you see me just right here, I'm going to put my tape measure right on that seam and mark 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to do the same thing for the bottom one. 3/4 of an inch. So I got it measured. Now I'm going to come back through it. I'm going to double check my measurements. I want to double check and even triple check, because once I put a hole in that aluminum, that hole's there forever. So I'm going to measure up 4.5, 25, in 3/4, in 3/4. Just going to come right over here and I'm just going to just verify this. 4.5 and 25. So I have them right on there. So the next thing that I want to do, this already has the inside skin installed in it. I'm going to come through and I'm going to drill a little pilot hole. But what I have here, I got a number 40 bit with some tape taped around it. I just want to go through that first layer of aluminum. I don't want to take the drill bit and go all the way through. Then I'll have a hole on the inside, which won't do anybody any good. So I have my drill bit right here, and I'm just going to come through. And now watch, when I drill this, I'm going to control that drill bit right in there, and I'm going to control that and put the hole in. Same thing down here. I'll put the hole on, okay? Now I'm going to come back through with my 3/8 bit. Again, I got that marked as well, so I'm only going so deep. And then I'm coming through and I'm going to drill that hole 3/8. Got that one drilled. I'm going to come down and drill the bottom side. So I have my holes drilled. After we have the holes drilled, I'm going to take all my burrs off of it. I don't want any burrs on that. The next step, I'm going to take my wrap protector, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to assemble this very first one. The screw goes through. My washer. Oops, it's going to fall off the screw. It goes through. My washer. And then I'm just going to start that weld nut. Just going to start it. I'm going to do the same thing to the bottom. Screw goes through. My 1/4 by 3/16 aluminum washer. And then my weld nut. Again, I'm just going to start it. And then, very carefully, I'm going to lay it up there. And I'm going to install it. Now, before I install it, I'm done with this tape here. On this side over here. So I'm going to take the tape off. Going to come through with my driver. And then I'm going to install them in, push the weld nuts through. And then tighten it up. So that's assembled. I'm going to manipulate and I'm going to bend this around up in place to get it so it sits on top of there. Just going to bring this up around the corner. This bottom, now remember this bottom sits right here on this rub rail. So I'm going to bring it up, set it up there. I'm going to sort of pull on it that way, and I want a uniform gap right up here. So I'm just going to manipulate this around where it goes. Keep it tight. Notice we got our tape here protecting that so we don't scratch it. We got it sitting up here on our belt line, so that looks like just about where that wants to sit. I'm going to come through with my marking pen, and I'm going to mark where these holes are at. Just going to come through and I'm going to mark right where they're at. So we got our 2 there. We don't want to move it too much after we get them marked. There. There, so we got them all marked. We don't want to move that around. Once we start marking it, if we move it around, our holes could be off. So I just want to set that right up there and just go back through and verify that my holes are on. We got it lined up, and then I'm good to go. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take this back out of the way. Now notice my hole up here that I have to drill for this next weld nut is sort of tight, and I'm going to get in there with my drill, I'm going to have to go down like this. So at this point, it's better to be safe than sorry, and we're just going to go ahead and we're going to take this wrap protector back off. So I'm going to loosen it up. Going to take the wrap protector off, set it down off to the side, and now I can get in there, drill my pilot holes, and everything's going to be out of the way. I'm going to come up, I'm going to grab my drill bit with the drill guide on it. I'm going to come back through. Now watch my hand. I just don't drill that up there. I guide it with this hand again, right there in the center. Got my first hole. Going to come around and do the second hole. And then on down with my third. And then my fourth final hole. I'm going to come back up through with my 3/8 drill bit and drill these. Now again, I got my stop here, and I don't want to drill all the way through the side. Just want to go through that outside skin. And we want to drill it slow. Don't want to get any burrs on it. Come over to the second one. Down here. Okay. We're done with that. Now I can come back through, and I'm going to take my tape off. I'm going to finish installing the other weld nuts on my protector here. Again, we come in with the nut, or the machine screw, the washer, and then the weld nut. And I just need to put it on a couple threads. After I get them on, I'm ready to install it. I'm going to take it over here, set it up. It's going to go on the trailer just like that. Driver bit in. Now I'm going to come up through, and I'm just going to start here on the front. Put the weld nuts through. Going to get that one. Get the first three started, then we can snug them up. Okay, then we're just going to wrap them around and put them on. Just like so. Now these end ones here are a little bit challenging to put on sometimes. Remember, we had to stretch it into place. Get my weld nuts in there. Bring it on around. Get them in, then I'm going to come up, start over here, and then tighten them up. Come over here and tighten them up. Now you notice I'm just snugging them for now. Look, we're sitting right down here on the bottom. Our gap's uniform all the way across the top. It's looking pretty good. I agree with that. This looks like it's just diving in here just a little bit. So I'm going to come up and straighten that out. Man, that looks very good. So now I'm going to come back up through, and I'm just going to tighten them all the rest of the way up with my drill. And there we go. Together we've successfully installed a wrap protector on a European. It'd be the same identical procedures for installing one on a Sport. Just remember two things. We want to use tape. We want to protect that segment so we don't scratch the segment. We want to measure and double check and even triple check our measurements to ensure that they're right, because once we drill the aluminum, we're committed. I want to make sure that my gaps up here are even. I want to be even with this center plate coming up the side. The measurements that we used again was up 4.5, 25 inches, and then 3/4 inches in from that center plate. I want to come back through, and I want to make sure that we got the uniform gap for one final time, and then I want to come back through and then finish tightening up my 1/4 inch by 20 by 1.5 inch machine bolts. Hope you found this helpful. Make it a great day.